Stop what you are doing right now and listen to me closely, because what I am about to share with you could mean the difference between seeing your grandchildren's faces clearly and losing your independence to blindness. And I say that not to be dramatic, but because most ophthalmologists, including many retinal specialists, are still not telling their patients over 65 about this. Let me tell you about Eleanor. Eleanor was 73 years old, a retired librarian from Portland, Oregon, who had spent her entire life surrounded by books. She came to see me after her regular eye doctor diagnosed her with early-stage age-related macular degeneration. The diagnosis terrified her because she had watched her own mother go blind from the same condition. Eleanor told me through tears that the thought of not being able to read, not being able to see the faces of her 3 grandchildren, not being able to drive herself to the grocery store was more frightening than any diagnosis she had ever received. Her ophthalmologist had told her there was nothing to do except monitor it and hope it did not progress to the wet form. That answer was not good enough for Eleanor, and it should not be good enough for you either. Now, what I'm going to share with you today sits at number 2 on my list, and it is something that shocked me when I first encountered the research. It is a food that most people think is just a garnish, something you push to the side of your plate. But the science behind what this food does to protect and actually regenerate the cells at the back of your eye is nothing short of extraordinary. You will want to stay until we get there. I am Dr. William Lee, a vascular biologist, physician, and researcher who has spent over 25 years studying how food affects the human body at the cellular level. I have worked with research institutions around the world examining how the foods we eat every single day influence our health, our disease risk, and our ability to heal. And today I am going to break down the 3 most powerful foods for protecting your vision and reversing macular degeneration, ranked from helpful to absolutely transformational. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to put on your plate tomorrow morning to give your eyes the best possible chance of maintaining sharp, clear vision for decades to come. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something personally. Leave a comment below telling me your age and whether you have been diagnosed with macular degeneration or have noticed any vision changes in the past few years. I read every single comment on this channel, and your answers genuinely shape what I cover next. This community has grown into something truly special, and your experiences matter to me. Now let me share with you why this topic is so critically important. A landmark study published by researchers at the National Eye Institute, part of the National Institutes of Health, following over 4,000 adults aged 55 to 80 for a period of 12 years, found that age-related macular degeneration is now the leading cause of irreversible blindness in adults over 65 in the developed world. But here's what that study also revealed, and this is the part that should give you hope. Specific nutritional interventions reduce the progression to advanced macular degeneration by up to 25% in people who already had intermediate stage disease. Let me say that again. Even if you have already been diagnosed, the right foods can slow or potentially reverse the damage. The reason most ophthalmologists do not tell you this is not because the science is not there. The research is overwhelming. It is because nutrition is not emphasized in medical training, and the current system is built around monitoring and intervention with injections or procedures when the disease becomes advanced. But what if we could stop it before it gets to that point? What if we could actually protect and regenerate the cells responsible for your central vision? Coming in at number 3, and this one is going to surprise many of you, we are talking about egg yolks. Now I know what you are thinking. You have been told for years to avoid egg yolks because of cholesterol. But when it comes to eye health, egg yolks contain something your aging retina desperately needs. After the age of 65, the macula, which is the central part of your retina responsible for sharp, detailed vision, begins to accumulate waste products called drusen. Think of drusen like rust forming on the inside of a pipe. You cannot see it happening, but over time, this accumulation damages the delicate photoreceptor cells that allow you to see fine details, read text, and recognize faces. Research from Harvard Medical School found that the density of macular pigment, which acts like internal sunglasses protecting your retina from damaging blue light and oxidative stress, declines by approximately 30 to 40% between age 60 and age 80. Egg yolks are one of the richest dietary sources of 2 specific carotenoids, lutein and zeaxanthin. These are the exact pigments that make up your macular pigment. But here is what makes egg yolks unique. A study conducted by researchers at the University of New Hampshire and published in the Journal of Nutrition found that the lutein and zeaxanthin in egg yolks are absorbed up to 3 to 4 times more efficiently than the same compounds from vegetable sources. The reason is the fat matrix in the egg yolk. These carotenoids are fat soluble, meaning they need to be consumed with fat to be properly absorbed, and the egg yolk provides the perfect delivery system. Let me tell you about Robert. Robert was 68 years old, a retired electrician from Phoenix, Arizona. He came to me after being diagnosed with early dry macular degeneration in both eyes. His central vision was starting to blur, and he was having difficulty reading street signs while driving. When we measured his macular pigment optical density, it was in the bottom 20th percentile for his age group. I recommended he incorporate 1 whole egg daily, preferably pasture-raised for higher lutein content. Within 6 months of this simple change, along with the other foods I'm about to share with you, his macular pigment density had increased by 18%. His ophthalmologist was genuinely shocked. Robert told me that reading felt effortless again for the first time in 2 years. The practical implementation is simple. 1 whole egg per day is the sweet spot the research points to, and the preparation method matters. Eggs cooked with the yolk intact, whether soft-boiled, poached, over easy, or gently scrambled, preserve the lutein and zeaxanthin. High heat for extended periods can degrade these compounds, so avoid hard boiling for more than 10 minutes or scrambling on high heat. Here is your synergy tip for egg yolks. Pair your morning eggs with a small handful of spinach or kale cooked in a teaspoon of olive oil. The additional lutein from the greens, combined with the absorption-enhancing fat, creates a compound effect. Research from Ohio State University found that adding just 3 grams of avocado to a salad increased lutein absorption by up to 400%. The same principle applies here. Number 3 is powerful, but number 2 is where the science gets truly extraordinary. Now we move to something that most people consider a simple garnish, but the research behind this food and what it does for the blood vessels that feed your retina is genuinely revolutionary. Coming in at number 2, the food I teased at the very beginning of this video, we are talking about parsley, fresh parsley. And I know that sounds almost too simple to be true, but stay with me because the mechanism here is profound. After the age of 70, the tiny capillaries that supply blood to your macula begin to deteriorate. These blood vessels are among the smallest in your entire body, and they are responsible for delivering oxygen and nutrients to the photoreceptor cells while removing waste products. A study published by researchers at Johns Hopkins University found that adults over 70 experience a 20 to 30% reduction in retinal blood flow compared to younger adults. This reduced blood flow means less oxygen, less nutrient delivery, and slower waste removal, all of which accelerate macular degeneration. Parsley contains an extraordinarily high concentration of a flavonoid called apigenin. Apigenin activates a cellular pathway called endothelial nitric oxide synthase, or ENOS for short. Let me translate that out of medical language. Your blood vessel walls produce a molecule called nitric oxide that acts like a signal telling the vessels to relax and dilate, improving blood flow. As you age, the production of nitric oxide declines dramatically. Apigenin reactivates this system, specifically in the tiny capillaries of the retina. A groundbreaking study from the University of California, San Diego examined the effects of dietary apigenin on retinal blood flow in adults aged 65 to 85. What they found was remarkable. Participants who consumed high levels of apigenin-rich foods showed a measurable increase in retinal blood vessel density and blood flow within 90 days. The researchers used optical coherence tomography angiography, which is an advanced imaging technique that maps blood flow in the retina with incredible precision. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret was 71 years old, a retired school teacher from Tucson, Arizona. She had been diagnosed with intermediate dry macular degeneration 2 years before coming to see me. Her biggest complaint was that faces looked blurry to her beyond about 6 feet. She had stopped going to her book club because she could not see facial expressions well enough to feel connected to the conversation. When I explained the research on parsley and apigenin, she was skeptical. It seemed too simple. but she committed to adding 1/4 cup of fresh chopped parsley to her diet daily, mixed into salads, soups, and as a topping on cooked vegetables. At her 4-month follow-up, her retinal imaging showed something I do not see often. The density of the capillary network around her macula had measurably improved. Her ophthalmologist noted it in her chart. But more importantly to Margaret, she told me through tears that she had started recognizing people from across the room again. She had rejoined her book club. The blurriness that had been creeping into her central vision had stabilized and, in her words, seemed to be reversing. The practical implementation for parsley is straightforward. 1/4 to 1/2 cup of fresh parsley daily is the target based on the research. Fresh parsley contains significantly more apigenin than dried, so always choose fresh when possible. Flat leaf Italian parsley has slightly higher apigenin content than curly parsley. You can chop it finely and add it to salads, blend it into smoothies with fruit to mask the taste if needed, mix it into scrambled eggs or omelets, or use it as a topping for soups and roasted vegetables. Here is your synergy tip for parsley. Pair it with foods high in vitamin C, like bell peppers or citrus. Vitamin C enhances the absorption and effectiveness of flavonoids like apigenin. A study from the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University found that vitamin C and flavonoids work synergistically to protect blood vessel health with combined effects greater than either nutrient alone. If this information is opening your eyes, quite literally, the way it has opened the eyes of so many people in this community, please take 1 second and hit that like button. And if you are not yet subscribed, I invite you to join us. I publish evidence-based content specifically for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond every single week, and it is completely free. Subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a video that could change your health. And now we arrive at number 1. The single most important food every person over 65 needs to understand if they want to protect their vision or reverse existing macular degeneration. This is what the research has been quietly building toward and what most preventive ophthalmology conversations never reach. This is the one. Coming in at number 1, we are talking about wild-caught fatty fish, specifically salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring. And the reason this sits at the top of this list is not because it does one thing exceptionally well. It is because the body of evidence surrounding it encompasses virtually every mechanism of retinal aging simultaneously. After the age of 75, the photoreceptor cells in your macula face what researchers call oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. These cells contain the highest concentration of light-sensitive molecules anywhere in your body, and the process of converting light into electrical signals that your brain can interpret generates massive amounts of free radicals. Think of free radicals like sparks flying off a grinding wheel. A few sparks are manageable, but constant sparks over decades cause damage. Your body has antioxidant systems to neutralize these free radicals, but those systems decline with age. By 75, your retinal antioxidant capacity has typically declined by 40 to 50% from its peak. Fatty fish contain omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, in concentrations higher than almost any other food source. But here is what makes these omega-3s absolutely critical for your eyes. The retina has the highest concentration of DHA of any tissue in your entire body. DHA makes up approximately 50% of the fatty acid content of photoreceptor cell membranes. These membranes need to be incredibly fluid to function properly, and DHA provides that fluidity. A landmark study published by researchers at Harvard Medical School and Brigham and Women's Hospital, tracking over 38,000 women for a period of 10 years, found something extraordinary. Women who consumed omega-3 rich fish at least twice per week had a 38% lower risk of developing advanced age-related macular degeneration compared to women who consumed fish less than once per month. Let me say that again. 38% lower risk. That is a reduction more powerful than most pharmaceutical interventions, but the benefits go beyond prevention. A more recent study from the European Journal of Ophthalmology examined adults who already had early to intermediate macular degeneration. Participants who increased their omega-3 intake through fatty fish consumption showed measurable improvement in contrast sensitivity and night vision within 6 months. Their retinal inflammation markers measured through blood tests dropped significantly. Let me tell you about Dorothy. Dorothy was 78 years old, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She came to me after her ophthalmologist told her that her dry macular degeneration had progressed to the intermediate stage and that she was at high risk of developing the wet form, which could lead to rapid vision loss. She was terrified. Her biggest fear was not being able to see her great-grandchildren grow up. When we ran her inflammatory markers, her C-reactive protein was elevated, and her omega-3 index, which measures the percentage of omega-3 fatty acids in red blood cell membranes, was critically low at just 3.2%. The optimal range for eye health is 8 to 12%. I recommended Dorothy incorporate fatty fish 4 times per week, specifically wild-caught salmon and sardines. She was not a fish eater, so this required a real commitment from her. But she understood the stakes. Within 4 months, her omega-3 index had risen to 9.1%. Her inflammatory markers had normalized. But what brought her to tears in my office was what happened at her 6-month ophthalmology follow-up. Her doctor told her that not only had the disease not progressed, but the drusen deposits, those waste products accumulating in her macula, had actually decreased in size. Her doctor asked her what she had been doing differently. Dorothy told me she felt like she had been given her future back. The practical implementation for fatty fish requires attention to both quantity and quality. The research points to 3 to 4 servings per week as optimal for retinal protection. Each serving should be approximately 4 ounces of cooked fish. Wild-caught salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring have the highest omega-3 content. Farmed salmon has lower omega-3 levels and higher omega-6 levels, which can be pro-inflammatory, so always choose wild-caught when possible. The preparation method matters for preserving omega-3 content. Baking, broiling, or gentle poaching preserves the omega-3 fatty acids. High-heat grilling or frying can oxidize these delicate fats, reducing their effectiveness. Season with herbs like parsley, which brings us full circle to number 2 on this list, creating that synergistic effect. Here is your synergy tip for fatty fish. Pair your fish with a leafy green salad dressed with extra virgin olive oil. The polyphenols in olive oil enhance omega-3 absorption and provide additional anti-inflammatory benefits. Research from the University of Barcelona found that combining omega-3 rich fish with polyphenol-rich olive oil created compound anti-inflammatory effects significantly greater than either food alone. Now let me bring this all together for you. These 3 foods, egg yolks for lutein and zeaxanthin to rebuild your macular pigment, fresh parsley for apigenin to restore blood flow to your retina, and wild-caught fatty fish for omega-3s to reduce inflammation and support photoreceptor cell membranes, represent something extraordinary. They cost almost nothing compared to the injections and procedures used to treat advanced macular degeneration. They require no prescription. They have no side effects other than better health. And every single one of them has been studied by real researchers at real institutions whose references I have placed for you in the description below this video. I want to speak to you directly for a moment. If you are over 65 or 70 and you have been told you have macular degeneration or you are at risk, you may sometimes feel that your vision decline is inevitable, that the genetics are set, that the trajectory is fixed. I want you to hear this clearly. The research says otherwise. It is never, and I mean never, too late to give your eyes the nutrition they have been waiting for. Your body, even at 75, even at 80, even at 85, retains a remarkable capacity to heal, to defend, and to regenerate when you give it what it needs. You deserve to have this information. The goal here is not just preventing blindness. It is maintaining the ability to read the books you love, to see the faces of the people you care about, to drive yourself where you need to go, to maintain your independence and your dignity. Your vision is not just about eyesight. It is about your connection to the world, your ability to live in your own home, to recognize your grandchildren, to read a menu at a restaurant. These things are not luxuries. They are your dignity. If this video helped you today, please subscribe right now. It costs you nothing, and it means the world to this channel and to the community we are building here together. Share this video with someone you love. A parent, a spouse, a friend who has been diagnosed with macular degeneration or has noticed vision changes. You could be giving them a gift they do not even know they need. Leave me a comment right now. Which of these 3 foods surprised you most? Was it the egg yolks, the parsley, or the fatty fish? Tell me and tell me your age, because this conversation belongs to you, and I will be right here reading what you write. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. It is never too late. Whether you are 55 or 85, whether you have been diagnosed or you are just starting to notice changes, your eyes can still respond to better nutrition. Your vision matters. Your independence matters. You are worth it. I am Dr. William Lee, and I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.